This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Shasheena Rolle. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news, police officers on the beat last night making another major drug haul here on Grand Bahama, this time in the Holmes Rock community. Tonight, several persons are in custody and the marijuana valued in the millions now in the hands of the police. Over $2 million in drugs seized by police officials in the Holmes Rock area on Wednesday night. According to officer in charge of Grand Bahama, Emerick Seymour, it was around 9:30 p.m. when officers and other law enforcement partners had reason to monitor a go-fast boat heading into Grand Bahama from a southern direction.
After an extensive monitoring between 9:30 and about 11:30 p.m., officers had occasion to go into the Holmes Rock area on the beach where the boat eventually ended up. Arriving at the scene, the officers discovered the boat, which had run aground in the Holmes Rock area. The beach ran onto the beach of the Holmes Rock area with quite a number of persons around it at the time that they would have reached the scene. Officers observed at the time one of the persons on the ground, who's well known to the police, dragging what appeared to be a white crocus sack.
He was intercepted by officers and that sack confiscated, but it was when he was taken back to the boat where police made the huge discovery.
On further inspection and examination of the boat, officers discovered another 41 bags of what is suspected to be marijuana. The total bags taken from the boat, and of course the bush was some 42 in total, weighing in excess of 2,000 pounds, as a matter of fact, 2,102 pounds. Street value of some $2 million, a little over $2 million, $2.1 million.
8 persons were arrested, 7 men and 1 female between the ages of 25 to 40 years old. Some of those persons residents of Grand Bahama. The officer in charge says the 42-foot boat is a Jamaican registered vessel.
This is the second such incident which would have occurred in as many days. It speaks of the hard work, the dedication, the commitment of the officers and, of course, the associated partners who were a part of this process. Someone asked if we're concerned about the amount of drugs that we see coming in here. I mean, we are concerned about any act of criminality that's perpetrated in Grand Bahama, Abaco, wherever, through the Commonwealth of Bahamas.
On Sunday, a major drug haul resulted in the seizure of over $3 million in dangerous drugs. 2 persons were arrested and have since been charged in connection with that incident. While 8 persons have been detained in connection with this $2 million drug find, the top cop in Grand Bahama says investigations continue and additional arrests may be made.
Notwithstanding we would have arrested 8 Bahamians, this investigation by no stretch of the imagination is over. This investigation into this particular matter continues, and of course there's likely to be more arrests.
The Minister of National Security to hear from members of the Grand Bahama community regarding issues of crime, solutions, suggestions, and concerns. After holding several town hall meetings in the nation's capital, the forum comes to Grand Bahama tonight. It gets underway at 7:30 at the Foster B. Pastina Center. Top officials from the police force, the prison, and the defense force are expected to attend. The delegation will be led by the minister responsible, Dr. Bernard Nottage, and Minister of State, Keith Bell. ZNS Network will provide live coverage of the forum beginning at 8 p.m. Now, a short time ago, Minister Nottage and a delegation wrapped up a meeting with members of the Pastors Forum. During that meeting held at the Freeport Bible Church, local church leaders were able to share their concerns and offer some recommendations on how best to tackle the country's crime problem. Chairman of the forum, Pastor Wilbur Ouden, says today's forum proves that the minister is serious about his mandate to combat crime and is willing to forge and strengthen partnerships with local stakeholders. He says he believes the meeting will bring about positive results.
Want to dialogue a little bit with the minister because we see crime is not exclusively a governmental problem. Crime should be all of our concerns, and so we intend to engage the minister in some dialogue so he can hear some of our ideas, and we can hear what the government is doing, and hopefully come together and come up with a workable strategy to turn things around in our communities.
But Minister Nonage says that he is pleased to hear reports that crime has seen a significant decrease here on the island. He also noted that life is changing here in the Bahamas and that persons no longer attend church the way they used to. He posed a question and challenge to the local churches.
There's a question that I would like to ask the church today. It is, does the church wish the government to take over the responsibility for helping to set the moral compass of our young people? Or is the church willing to play the role for which I believe it is ordained? And if the church wants to continue that role or wants to recapture that role, then it has to provide services for young people, whether they're on Sunday or whether during the week after school, in terms of activities, etc. But I would like to see the church play a more positive role in the development of our youth.
Well, tonight, a Bahamian psychiatrist living in the United States is giving his take on possible solutions to the crime problem. He believes the answer may lie in empowerment. Sabrina Brown has this story.
As the government forges ahead with its plan to tackle the crime problem in the country, psychiatrist and global business consultant Dr. Shawalter Johnson says there must be a holistic approach to dealing with this major issue. Dr. Johnson believes a vital component in the war on crime must be the empowerment of Bahamians.
There are three types of people in this world, Sabrina. People who are part of the problem, people who are part of the solution, and people who are part of the landscape. We as Bahamians need to say we are a part of the landscape, our economy, and we, Mr. Prime Minister, we have an alternative idea. You're doing a good job, sir, but we have some help for you. There's an alternative idea. There's an alternative idea called let's expand the commons where all people are equal.
This Bahamian professional has influenced people around the world, and he continues to impact the lives of many, including criminals.
As a psychiatrist and spiritual leader, I interview a lot of killers. I was hanging with Tupac's mentor, right? And she took him off the street. She had love for him. She took him off the street and said, "You have a gift." She took him into ballerina. He started dancing. People don't even realize he was inside New Orleans dancing when he was young, doing ballerina. And then she took him into literature and English, and that's why he became so good. She cared for him. So the young black male is where he's at because someone didn't care.
Dr. Johnson is preparing to launch his first book on secrets to business networking, which focuses on 7 key principles.
Political innovation, we look at principled negotiation, how to get people to negotiate even if a conflict is going on. How can we get them to shift away from the capitalist self-interest way and begin to say, look here, brother, I disagree with you, you disagree. What can we learn from a collaborative model or a sharing model? 50-50. Let's meet one another in the middle. Let's negotiate. In business, conflict resolution.
He was recently endorsed by a powerful international network.
CEO Space, and anyone can pull it up, which is the largest entrepreneurial network. The president endorsed me as the leading transformationist in the world, that is dealing with this. Now, Barack Obama, those are starting to embrace it. You'll start hear people speaking on competitive capitalism, cooperative capitalism, and expanding the commons. And all of these ideas are now emerging from this new book that is coming forward.
Sabrina Brown, ZNS Network News.
The Minister for Grand Bahama firing back at comments made by the Member of Parliament for East Grand Bahama, Peter Turnquest, regarding the delay in the opening of the renovated Reef Village Resort in Lucaya. The property was scheduled to open today, but it has been pushed back. At a press conference this afternoon, Dr. Michael Darville telling members of the media that the January 16th opening date was provided based on projections to the government and Sunwing by those intimately involved in the project. He says the January 16th date was confirmed less than a week ago when government officials conducted a tour of the property.
At that time, Mr. Lionel Turnquest personally assured me, the Director General of Tourism, Mr. David Johnson, and the Senior Policy Advisor for the government, Subaltern Bettel, that the remaining work was minor and would not affect the opening date of the resort. Upon completion of the tour of the facility and based on the update from Mr. Lionel Turnquest, I made a public statement confirming the opening date of January the 16th, 2014. Nevertheless, I was informed only yesterday that some of the kitchen equipment and other supplies did not meet the shipping date. It is truly unfortunate that the Member of Parliament for East Grand Bahama, Mr. Peter Turnquest, whose brother is the project manager for this renovation, is either fully aware or has easy access to the facts surrounding this unforeseen delay, yet would use this opportunity to create unnecessary alarm and confusion as it relates to our partners and others of the Sunwing Group.
Now, Dr. Darville telling the media that despite the negative publicity, today is a good day for Grand Bahama as the first Sunwing flight arrived as scheduled, and the resort should be opened within the next 2 weeks.
Although the Memories Resort Grand Bahama is not open as anticipated, we can be assured that these visitors are being accommodated in a superior facility at the Grand Lucayan Resort at no additional cost. We are all excited about this new addition to our tourism product on Grand Bahama and for the increase in stopover visitors, which is indeed a boost for our local economy. It is important to point out to the general public that all of Sunwing flights to Grand Bahama are on schedule, with the first flight arriving within a few hours. I would like to point out once again that at no point was this delay anticipated, and it was a direct result of an unforeseen act of nature.
Now, the Minister for Grand Bahama says representatives from his ministry as well as the Ministry of Tourism are on the site and have reassured him that crews are working around the clock to complete all minor repairs in time for the handover of the property to the Sunwing Group. Stay with us, the Bahamas Tonight. The Northern Edition continues right after this.